Hello everyone, welcome to the latest episode of Talk. Um, okay, so in this episode I will tell you the latest news. That is, I will back to Taiwan, and this is a one-way ticket. I will not go back to US in short term. Yeah, so because my visa status is almost expired, and I didn't get a new job in the US, so I decided to go back to Taiwan, or you can say I must go back to Taiwan, yeah, to find a new job and keep my career. Just like I went to the US 2.5 years ago, I feel very complicated, yeah. But the structure of my mood is still have different with to when I came to US. The happy thing I go back to Taiwan is like I can see my family, and I didn't go to Taiwan in the past 2.5 years, so I miss Taiwan very much. Yeah, so it is very happy that I can go to Taiwan. But the sad thing I need to go now is because it's because I didn't get a new job in the U.S. You know, originally I didn't have a plan to get a job in the U.S. But because I want to apply for a PhD program in the U.S. and I graduated in 1.5 years. So I applied for the OPT and I want a job in the U.S. Although I had a job before, but I didn't pass the probation period, so I'm on employment again, and then I didn't get a new job, and my visa status is expired, and this thing is very disappointing to me. So go back to Taiwan at this time. I think some is good and some is bad, so it makes me very complicated. It is still very different to when I came to US, because when I came to US, my mood is very complicated. It's because I will miss my family, but I'm very excited to study for a new degree and explore a new country. My mood is still similar to 2.5 years ago. Yeah, so let me share something I'm impressed in the US. Like, okay, so like the first one is like, because when I came to US is in 2000 is in September, no, August of 2020. Yeah, the COVID is still a big thing in the worldwide. So yeah, the US is still locked down. So when I came to US, the restaurant is only for to go, not for dining. And in the September and October, and some of the restaurant they plan to offer 25% for dining, and others still for to go. And because there's still lockdown in the US, there's nothing to go. The only thing I can do is stay at home and keep studying and studying. So this situation is ended from I think it's around April 2021, because you start to get a COVID vaccine. Yeah, so I got the first and second vaccine in April 2021, and after I got the COVID vaccine, and I started to go out. Like I started to go to New York, and also my first long trip is in the May of 2021. I went to San Jose and Chicago, and from that time I started to go out, like go to New York or go to New Jersey in the end of 2021 and 2022. Yeah, so that is very impressive experience that I saw the whole process from lockdown to recover to normal. And another thing I'm very impressed is that I was a sales representative in during my summer break. That was the only time I have a chance to speak English all day, and also at that time my best time of my English speaking, and I have a lot of chance to talk to Americans. So I didn't like to do the sales job, but I like the environment. Also, let me share some good thing and bad thing in the U.S. So let me share some of the good things. Yeah, the first one, just I talk about, I was a sales representative. Yeah, you also because I have a good chance, to talk to Americans or foreigners, and this is my best time to speak English. And yeah, and another one is like I went to several cities in the U.S. Yeah, I like them all, and I like the views in those places. Like I went to San Jose, Chicago, and Atlanta, and New Orleans, Houston, Boston, and of course New York, and some of towns in New Jersey. So I went to several places, and I like all of them. Yeah. Okay. So also the next part is like I met some good people in the U.S. and they take care of me very much, and I'm very grateful to them. Yeah. So and so yeah. So this is the good part in the U.S. And for the bad part, I think, yeah, the first one is like I was scammed in the U.S. I was scammed for I think $7,000. Yeah, that was a bad memory. And I also wrote an article in my blog, so you can see that article and just remind yourself and don't do the same thing as me. And the second part is like just like a few months ago, I didn't pass the probation period, so I'm on appointment again, and I need to go back to Taiwan at this time because of my visa status, and that makes me feel very bad. But I don't know, because when I was in that company, I'm also unhappy because some reasons. Yeah. Okay. Okay. We need to go straight forward, and yeah, we don't need to think about them again. Okay. So for in summary, I think the experience in the two and a half year in the U.S. I think is still very impressive time in my life, and it is a very special part in my life. Yeah. So maybe something good, something bad, but it's time to go home. Yeah, and maybe if I apply for a PhD program in the future, maybe I will come back again. Yeah, this is my summary in the US. Okay, so because I need to go back to Taiwan, I think so in the past 2 weeks, yeah, most of the time I do the three things. Yeah, the first one is package my stuff. Yeah, the second one is to go out to several places, like which I went to them very often, or Like for example, like some of places near my house and some of places in New York. And the third thing I did it is to apply the job in Taiwan. Yeah, and the good news is that I got one interview, and it will be on the next day of I back to Taiwan. Yeah, so yeah, for example, I went to the New York. I think it's the last Thursday and Friday. Yeah, I went to New York. I went to several places, and I can share with you. Yeah. So the first one I went to the Summit One Vanderbilt. Yeah, I think this is a building, and then we can see the views of the New York, and the most special part is not the views, is the decoration in the building. Yeah, that's very special, and if you have the time, you can went then to take a look. Yeah, and then I went to a Times Square and go to some vendors and shops and buy some postcards. Yeah, and you need to be careful when you are in a big city, because I was punched by some people. Yeah, you need to be careful. Yeah, but I'm fine, and nothing was steal. So yeah, so just remind you, if you went to the big city, you need to be careful. Yeah, and then I went to the Filtron building, and I went to the Harry Potter store. Actually, I went to the Harry Potter store for several times, but I didn't buy anything before, because I think I still have a chance to go there. But this time is the last time I went to that store. So, but I didn't have any idea like that I want to buy something. But I still buy the magnets for myself, or maybe I can give give them to maybe my friends. I don't know. Yeah. So, and then I just went to the Washington Square Park. Yeah, I think that is the beginning of the Fifth Avenue. And then I went to the Soho and go to Chinatown, and then I'll walk back to World Trade Center. Oh, yeah, it just take very much time for walking, because I just walk from Times Square to World Trade Center. I just walked for a long time, and the next day, and I went to New York for applying for authorization of my master's degree. Yeah, and then I went to the Grand Central Station, and then I went to 911 Museum, and go to the Statue of Liberty, and then I went back to New Jersey. And also I went to yeah, and also I went to the Ramsey in New Jersey. Yeah, it is a very beautiful town, and, and I like it. And also, because that day is very cold. I think is only maybe 5 degrees of Fahrenheit. So the lake is freezing. I just walk on the lake. Oh, that is very special experience. Okay, so let me share some my latest article in my blog. So the first thing I want to share is that I just update my song list. Yeah, and I just update the greatest song of all time, because the reason that I want to update the greatest song of all time is because I just did a little bit change my criteria of greatest song of all time. If a good song is actually a good song, it will not affect by any criteria. And also because I changed my criteria, because I consider more about the endurance of this song. Yeah, so if I list that song for a long time, and that song maybe will have a better grade and have a better rank. And also another thing I want to share, I just mentioned before, is the authorization of my master's degree. So this is a very important process when we finish the degree outside of Taiwan, because we need to get the authorization so that we can prove this degree which are committed in Taiwan. Yeah, if you didn't do this authorization, yeah, maybe, like for example, maybe the company they didn't believe that your degree is valid. So the process is that you just bring your certificate and your transcript to the epicenter, and then maybe they will have around 10 days to do this process, and then they will give you the authorization of your degree. And this is very important. Yeah, and if you still stay in the US, I strongly suggest you to do this authorization. Although you can do this process in Taiwan, but the cost of time and money is still more expensive than you did this in outside of Taiwan. Yeah, because they need to send a document to the messenger, and then they will give the authorization and send them to Taiwan. Yeah, so this is the authorization of your degree. Okay, so the next one I want to share is the roster of the Taiwan's WBC. Finally, Taiwan's roster is published, and then they will publish in. There are 30 people in this roster, and actually they just cut 5 players from the 66 people, and cut 6 of them to 30. So the 6 people was eliminated, and one of them he just got hurt, and he need to leave the roster, and the other 5 they just eliminate. There are 2 pitchers and 1 catchers and 1 infielder and 1 outfielder. Yeah. So for the pitcher, the people who are eliminated are Wu Zheyuan and Lin Kaiwei. Yeah. So for Wu Zheyuan, he is eliminated. I think it is very reasonable. Yeah, because the coaches just said his status is relatively not good, so eliminated. And another one is Lin Kaiwei. I think is similar. Yeah, but for me, it is reasonable to eliminate Wu Zheyuan, because he is only good for 1 year, which is last year, and before last year, he is not actually a good player. Yeah, and another one is Lin Kaiwei. Yeah, he is eliminated. I don't know. I'm not sure why he is being eliminated. Yeah, because many people think Chen Guanwei will be eliminated. Yeah, because he is not good enough compared to other pitchers. Yeah, but Chen Guanwei still stay in the roster, but link away is eliminated. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the coaches have some their consideration. I don't know. Yeah, so for the catchers, yeah, Dai Peifeng is eliminated. I think this is very reasonable because although Gao Yujie didn't play too much games last year, yeah, but he had some experience of like this kind of games. Yeah, especially he had a good performance in Premier 12 in 2019. And for infielders, Yue Donghua is eliminated. Yeah, yeah, because in these rosters, many people they have the multiple positions, like Lin Ziwei, Zhang Yuchen, Wu Nianting, yeah, Lin Li. They have several positions, and also their performance are better than Yue Donghua. So I think it is very reasonable to eliminate him. And for outfielders, yeah, Lin Anke is eliminated. In this part, I don't know because for me maybe I will eliminate Chen Jing. Yeah, because Lin Anke is a better player than Chen Jing, right? Yeah, maybe I will choose to eliminate Chen Jing, except Lin Anke is maybe he has hurt. So like the final roster is decided, and I will do is just to support them and hope these players can play a good game and have a good performance and give them support. So another part I want to share is that the Chinese New Year is 2 weeks ago, and then I went to the Flushing to see does there have any atmosphere of Chinese New Year in Flushing. And then I went to the Flushing. Yeah, I was a little disappointed because they just look like another normal Sunday. Yeah, and when I go back and I talk to my friends and they just told me you should go to the Chinatown in Manhattan. Yeah, maybe it has more atmosphere, Chinese atmosphere there. Yeah, although Flushing has some Chinese people, but actually there has a lot. They also have a lot of like Korean and Vietnamese. They actually looks like more like a Asian town, not just a Chinatown. It's still a good experience to go there. Okay, so the next part I want to share is that I just rebuilt my official website because I don't know why my old official website I cannot edit anything. So I just built a new official website. But the content in my official website is still the same. Yeah, I didn't have a big changes. I just reordered my blog because the categories is become more and more in my blog. So I just put a corner to show my categories of my articles. Yeah. And totally I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I have 13 categories. And for this year I have two topics here. Yeah, the first one is interview. Yeah, this interview is that just like the celebrities or athletes, they have a press interview. I just try to use different languages to answer those problems. and the other one is to learn something. So I just put something I learned. And the first one I just share here is why nobody want to listen to you to explain. In that article, I think very interesting because in that article list the mistakes I did before. So in that situation, actually, it is very often when we communicate. A vivid example is that uh, you know where is the problem, but the other people is still want to explain to you where is the problem, because the mind side of that explanation is that how do I express myself and to other people or what I'm thinking. But I didn't understand is that they are not explained, and actually they just show how does it affect after I explain to them. And the reason for this situation is because we are very believed to other people will understand what I'm talking about if I explain very clearly. But actually, every people has different characteristics, value or preferable, and their life experience. So, the- so there are some difference. Uh, they have some different perspective in the same thing. So, and also this is why we need to collaborate with others. Also, in this situation, is actually when other people says maybe your drawbacks. So that kind of explanation usually is to excuse yourself, and also it is very uh, offensive when we do that explanation. It is not work for the communication. So, so if your statement is true, yeah, you don't need to do that kind of explanation. So the last part of that article, they just teach some tips to avoid that situation. So the first one is we need to listen more. We don't need to express myself when we met the conflict. We just need to listen more, and then we can understand more the meaning of others, and then we can get the better of communication. And the second one is we can ask more. We just try to ask more, and we just agree the ideas. So the reason we do that is to decline others people's offensive, and we can more focus on the problem, and we can get a better communication. And the third part is sharing your feelings. So how to share your feelings? Yeah, the first one uh, is to depict the objective behavior and put your explanation and telling your feelings. And this method maybe will have a development between your communication. Yeah. So I think this article is helpful to me, and I just share this article, and I hope more and more people can avoid that situation. And so the next part I want to share is I listened to Hilary Hahne's concert, and she plays the Cerberus violin concerto, yeah, with New Jersey Symphony. She played very perfect. Another special thing is that many Chinese and Koreans went to this concert, so we can got, yeah, Hilary Hahn is also very famous in Asia. It is a very good experience and very impressive for me. Okay, so I think this is my news and my recent update. And next part I want to share I can share is the NBA All Star game. The NBA All Star rosters is published, so we can discuss this NBA All Stars. So in the West Conference, so the starters will be Stephen Curry, Luka Doncic, LeBron James, Zion Williamson, and Nikola Jokic. These are the same as my predict. Yeah. So for the East Conference, the starting of the East Conference is Kyrie Irving, Donovan Mitchell, Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Jason Tatum. Yeah, there's the one difference is Joel Embiid and Jason Tatum. Yeah, I predict Joel Embiid will be the starters, but Jason Tatum in the starter is also reasonable. And so for the All Star reserves in the West Conference, yeah, so they have Paul George and SGA and Jaren Jackson Jr., Damian Lillard, Lauri Markkanen, Ja Morant, and Domantas Sabonis. Yeah. So in the West Conference, I think there's only controversial. I think is Jaren Jackson Jr. Yeah, because maybe he has a good defensive end, so maybe this is why he is in the All Star. And I think in the West Conference, this is very reasonable, except JJJ, because there's no Anthony Davis. Yeah, because many people think about why is Jaren Jackson Jr. in the All Star, why is not Anthony Davis? Okay, so for the Eastern All Star reserves, is like Bam Adebayo, Jaylen Brown, DeMar DeRozan, Joel Embiid, and Tyrese Haliburton, Drew Holiday, and Julius Randle. I think there is more controversial in the East Conference. The first thing is why James Harden are not in the All Star. Come on, man, that's too crazy. Yeah, but I think James Harden didn't have any good impression in the NBA league. Yeah, so if James Harden didn't have a good performance compared to where he was in the Houston, so he is eliminated in the All Star. And the second one, I think it's Jimmy Butler. The league didn't like James Harden and Jimmy Butler. And another one is Drew Holiday. Yeah, Drew Holiday. Yeah, he is the second time to went to the All Star. The first time he was in the All Star is 10 years ago. Come on, man. Oh, that's too crazy. But I still need to congrats to Drew Holiday. He went to the All Star again. And another one is Julius Randle. Okay. Yeah, But Julius Randle, he is in the All Star game. I think it's still reasonable because, the Knicks is still in the top 8. And you can give one position for Knicks. So maybe that people will be Julius Randle or Jalen Brunson. I think, and the league choose the Julius Randle. I think it's good. So this is the All-Star game. Yeah. So I can show you my predicting NBA All-Star. So for the starters is Stephen Curry, Luka Doncic, LeBron James, Zion Williamson, and Nikola Jokic. And for reserves is Ja Morant, Karl Anthony Towns, Devin Booker, Damian Lillard, Andrew Wiggins, Domantas Sabonis, and Paul George. For the East Conference, for starters is Kyrie Irving, Donovan Mitchell, Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Joel Embiid. And the reserves is James Harden, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Jared Allen, Tyrese Haliburton, Pascal Siakam, DeMar DeRozan, and Jimmy Butler. I think we discussed this roster last time, and then I post the article after we talked last time. Okay, so this is my roster and this is my prediction of my NBA All-Star roster. And I go back to Taiwan next week, and I will still update my blog and every corners I manage. And also in this talk, I will still keep speaking English in my talk in the future, and I will keep updating my blog and try to find some new topics. And I just find a coincidence that the day I went to Taiwan is the 900th day I stay in the US. That means I stay in the US for 900 days. That is we call it a coincidence. I don't know. Yeah, it's just I think it's a good number for me. Okay, maybe yeah. When the next episode comes out, I'm already in Taiwan. Okay, so this is the end of this episode, and see you next time. Bye.